Welcome. This just in, breaking extra. Welcome to the Cornfed News Convention, CNC. Today is Thursday, November 14th, 2024. It's 3:29 p.m. on the East Coast. Everybody, folks, you're welcome. You're welcome for me doing this, but also you're welcome here. Everyone's welcome here. What a week it's been. So let's yes, happy Thursday. Oh my god. Sorry, I bought these oh my god. Okay. I bought these juice head pouches. 12 milligrams of nicotine. That's one of them words you gotta enunciate. At least I do with my accent. If I glide over it too sloppily, it can come out as something else. Nicotine. 12 milligrams is this is peach, pineapple, mint. God, these things are strong. You know what gets me is like Zen is the sort of the benchmark for all these. Zen is like the Coca-Cola of these pouches. But what every brand other than Zen has that Zen should have, if it's going to be the leader in whatever this is, however they get this nicotine powder, if it's going to be the leader in tobacco alternative pouches, all the other brands I've got now have this, where there's like a thing on top of the lid, like an auxiliary lid, like it pops off, and it's like a storage unit for the for your used pouch. So like when you get done with one, let's say you're out and about, or you're in the car or wherever you may be, and you're done with the pouch, you need somewhere to toss it. you got nowhere to really put it, rather than just like set it down, like throw it on the floor or litter or whatever. You could just pop this top off and then put the pouch in there and put the top back on, and they'll store it stores your trash for you, your nicotine trash. But Zen doesn't have that. Zen just has like a regular lid. So when you're done with a Zen, you have to just like throw it somewhere. And that's why if you go into any guy's bedroom now, the perimeter, the radius, there's like a 6-foot radius around his bed that is festooned with used Zen pouches, and it's very it upsets a lot of guys bitch wives all the Zen pouches everywhere. But if the Zen container just had the thing on top, I just got a text from Sal. I'll deal with that later. But the Zen should have, if Zens are going to be the leader in all this, then they need to have that pop top on top. And so, well, whatever. Anyway, I got these juice head pouches, this peach, pineapple, mint. The flavor is whatever. Who cares about? That's not even why I'm getting it. I want the nicotine, but this is 12 milligrams, and boy, am I feeling it. It's strong. I know there's some folks. Hey, look, there's probably a lot of folks at work right now. I am off today, off work. Even if I wasn't, my work hours don't start till noon anyway. So I would have done this probably in the morning if I had to work today. But it's the afternoon now. And so we're continuing the CNC, and so the question everybody has now is what What even is the news? Who can you trust? And I believe that that's up to, if you are to consume information and read and do all this research and you know take in all these different sources, then you can from there formulate your own opinion and perspective, and whether or not you agree or disagree with what you're with what you're being presented with, what you're being presented, right, by any news source. Yeah, ideally, news is to be objective and an objective presentation of the facts. The I guess like the ideal situation, the ideal circumstances for any journalist, or what a journalist would strive for, ideally, would be as close to objectivity as possible. Now it's hard. I don't know if it's possible to ever reach to ever have like completely objective reporting. But you're trying to be as objective as possible, right? And of course, there's going to be different outlets that have different biases. And these days, it seems like this probably started with the advent or the movement of new journalism that began in the 60s, where journalists were more and more inserting themselves into their stories. A lot of guys, as hero Hunter S. Thompson was one of the spearheads of that movement. And that created a more that began to make journalism in a more of like a spectacle, right? More of like where the focus was on the personality. John wants to know how long I'm going. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's get some super chats going. Maybe maybe that'll extend it. So let's see here. Oh, I'm very happy to read this. The troll that's always in here says he's on a mega tilt from online poker and sports betting. It serves you right. I'm the same on the stock market. Actually, I've lost a lot in stocks, but crypto's up. Crypto is booming right now. Doge is holding at around 40 cents a Doge. And XRP, the one that everybody told me was a fool's purchase, I bought it 55 cents. XRP's at 80 cents now. So y'all can all suck my balls. And then, I got some meme coins and a little bit of Ethereum, Bitcoin. I'm not bit heavy into crypto because I do not know what I'm doing. But I got some. So, my whole life I was told that the key to financial freedom is to invest. And so the evolution of investments for my generation is cryptocurrency and, crypto, and then stocks, Robinhood, and all these other things. It's not it's not like it used to be where you would just buy like, I don't know, whatever investments used to be. I don't know, gold, silver. I guess those are still valid. But, you got to pay attention to the markets. And I guess the markets are saying crypto, Doge, the department, that whatever the hell Elon and Sim Sada Bim are working on, that Department of Government Efficiency. I know it's just a meme. It's probably not going to amount to anything, whatever they're doing. I don't believe it's an official governmental agency, whatever it is. But I do feel that after the inauguration, whenever that Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, actually happens, the actual the meme coin itself probably will increase in value. And I've seen some price targets as high as $2.50. Which so if I got in at like 17 cents I got like 400 on them. It was like $60. Um, and so I'm in the green on that one, and I'm thinking about buying more while it's still at 40. Because if I throw like a ton of money at it at 40 cents and then it balloons to 250 and I sell, I make a lot of money on that. I don't know if it's going to be a I don't know if it's as valid as a long term investment, really, like Bitcoin. Maybe no one knows. No one in 2011, no one thought Bitcoin was going to be anything. It was a joke. It was this thing you could get for like fractions of a penny, I think. And now one Bitcoin is worth $90,000. So everybody who wagged their finger and looked down their nose, poo pooed at Bitcoin. Now they got egg. They have egg on their face. And so everybody's trying to figure out what's the next crypto that's going to do that. Ethereum could still do it. I mean, Ethereum is already pretty high. Ethereum's at like almost $4,000. Solana, but beyond that, Doge seems to be like one that everybody's looking at because I don't know, because of what Elon and M. Night Ramaswamy are working on. Which brings us to the news. I have a. This is from the news is cool. Journalism is cool. I ain't trying to be getting my news from the same website that I watch like cum shots and squirting videos on X, the everything app, formerly Twitter. As much as Elon would like that to be a legitimate news source for news and information, I mean, there's definitely something to be sifted through on that website. There's a ton of things, but it's too cacophonous, and it's not where I would go for journalism necessarily. And I know that, like I mentioned, there's all these other outlets that have their own biases and whatever that may be. So it's up to the reader. It's up to you to read through an article and formulate your own conclusions. I think people are expecting like everything to just be handed to them, or they expect like this true objective version of the facts wherever they go. Or I don't know, but I like reading different kinds of journalism, and then just if it's good, it's good. If not, whatever. On to the next article, right? What does this say? This is not a super chat, but I'll read it. Eric Petty says, "Here's some news. A lost old boomer tried to get me to go to their car window when I was blowing leaves just 10 minutes ago." I think that should be leaves, Leaves. You spell it leave, or maybe you're in Canada. 10 minutes ago, I asked why, and she said she was lost, and I should just come to the window. That's a skinwalker. That's what the Navajo call a skinwalker. They know how to drive now. They're not just deer on two legs that show up at your door. They can be old ladies in sedans. Oh my god. I'm gonna put in another one of these pouches. It's funny. It sucks. Like, these are not pleasant, or these don't feel good at all. But I can't stop. I guess I'm just addicted to the nicotine. But these hurt. It's making my gums hurt, dude. I haven't been to a dentist in probably 15 years. The New York Times Magazine. This is interesting. Nature's Swiss Army knife. What can we learn from Venom? Tell you what we can learn. That Tom Hardy is way too talented for them pictures, but he loves doing them accents. he loves doing a funny accent, but he's got way too much range. He should be in he should be in better movies. I haven't seen the third one. I saw I've only seen the second Venom movie, the one with Woody Harrelson as Carnage, and it's not good. Those are bad movies. So I'll tell you what you can learn from Venom. It's a waste of time. But I'll tell you what, anything's better than that damn Deadpool and Wolverine. Good Lord. I tried to watch that movie the other night. It's on Disney Plus now. I got like 40 minutes into it and I had to tap out. That is the most obnoxious, exhausting, just like cinematic celluloid diarrhea that I've ever seen. It was so exhausting to try and watch that movie. I never much cared for that character in the comic books. I'm not a big fan of over the meta humor necessarily. There's just this constant breaking the fourth wall, and because it doesn't match with anything else that's happening. Like he exists with all these other characters, and he's constantly like talking to me, the reader, and then whoever he's with, fucking Iron Man has to be like nobody's reacting to it in a way that makes sense because he's like addressing Marvel and all this other stuff, and then everybody else is just like, "What are you talking about, Deadpool?" So I never really liked that character that much, but then trying to watch that movie, I just was it just was like tedious and tiresome. Just constant quips and not winks and nods and looking at the camera and these ham-fisted trying too hard jokes from Ryan Reynolds. It was a just totally just annoying, obnoxious, miserable slog that I only made it through 40 minutes. I turned it off. I said, I don't care what happens. I don't care about any of these people. This movie is not encouraging me in any way to even give a shit about any of them because the movie is so irreverent. It's all just like, the whole idea is like, oh, I know I'm in a movie, so none of this matters. It's all a joke. So it's like, why should I care then? Like, why do I care about any of this? But I mean, beyond that, none of the jokes are funny. It's all just like, like just it all registered to me as like the sense of humor of like a child who just discovered cuss words. It was terrible. So I guess all that's to say is at least Venom is better than that. I would rather watch the Venom movies than those Deadpool movies. $2 from Andrew Waller. Germany economy government is collapsing. Buy Bitcoin. Okay, I sure will. Nature's Swiss Army knife. What can we learn from Venom? A study of Gila monster venom helped start the revolution in weight loss drugs, but scientists think that's just the beginning. I don't know what a Gila monster. There's monsters that's like a real thing. I'm sure we'll find out. The picture here looks like a spider. By Kim Tingley, dated November 13th, 2024. There are two opposite paths to achievement in science. The first is straightforward. Identify a problem and set about solving it. The second is rather unscientific sounding and perhaps more faith-based. Study in obscurity and hope serendipity strikes. See, there, science and faith are not mutually exclusive. A lot of the great scientific discoveries are born in the faith, the supernatural, just the unknown and the infinite mystery of everything. Science does not preclude faith. And there's a lot of folks who think it does, and they in that belief they reject science. But a lot of science is it happens due to faith, right? That's what this is saying. In 1980, a young gastroenterologist, I think that's a doo-doo doctor, named John Pierre Rothman wound up taking the latter road through the digestive diseases branch of the National Institutes of Health. His goal there was to gain research experience. While doing so, he chanced to meet the lead chemist of another laboratory, John Pisano, who had a passion for seeking out new and interesting examples of a specific kind of hormone called a peptide in animal venoms. Pisano regularly appealed to local insect and reptile enthusiasts in the classified pages of the Washington Post. In response, they would show up at his office door carrying plastic bags wriggling with possibilities. So he put out basically, so this guy put out a Backpages ad, not for sex, but for like critters and creepy crawlers. He was looking for some strange, but that strange being animals. Pisano, maybe, and there might have been some gay sex also, some anonymous gay sex. Pisano offered some venom samples to Rothman for his meandering analyses. Over the following month, Rothman experimented with them to see if they stimulated pancreatic cells harvested from guinea pigs. Oh, so the guinea pigs were actual guinea pigs. The venom, with the biggest effect by far, came from a desert reptile that Rothman had never heard of, the Gila monster. Then why the fuck is the picture on the head of the beginning of this article? They got a picture of a damn spider. The Gila monster is some kind of reptile. So it explains what it is here. Gila monsters, sluggish, thick-tailed ground dwellers. sounds a lot like my ex-wife. Are native to southern Arizona and northern Mexico. They have blunt noses and bumpy black skin with tan, pink, or orange squiggles. They spend 95% of their lives underground. Like their cousins to the south, Mexican beaded lizards, they are one of the very few lizard species that produces venom, which they excrete from mouth glands into grooves in their serrated teeth. The strength of their jaws is typically enough to subdue their prey, chicks, frogs, worms, and the like. But if threatened and unable to escape or hide, they may bite a predator. Whenever they clamp down, piercing the skin, venom enters the victim's bloodstream. This causes intense pain and can initiate a cascade of other symptoms that in people includes vomiting, dizziness, rapid heart rate, low blood pressure, and in rare circumstances, death. Okay, so it's the same effect as taking about 8 or 900, maybe 1,000 milligrams of Benadryl. Rothman experimented with the Gila monster venom for a while, then moved on to other projects. Years passed, he took a faculty position at what was then the State University of New York Health Science Center in Brooklyn and set up his own lab. Soon he found himself collaborating with a group at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in the Bronx. One of the scientists there, an endocrinologist named John Ing, was impressed by Rothman's work with the Gila monster. He was especially intrigued by its glacial metabolism. That's what I have. The lizard can survive on fewer than a handful of meals per year. So, yeah, I got that slow metabolism, but I eat a handful of meals per hour. And that's why I have ballooned in weight. But I did go for a walk this morning. I walked a mile this morning, and I am on my fitness journey. I'm working on it. And I think this is gonna lead into something to do with that. Ing and Rothman paired up, screened the venom again, and found molecules Rothman had not observed before. They called these molecules Exindin 3 and 4. My penis is extending. Ing recognized the extendins as a potential diabetes therapy. He had patients with the condition who needed to calibrate their insulin injections carefully to avoid both hyper and hypoglycemia. Extendin 4, on the other hand, resembled a human hormone called GLP-1. Okay, now this is sounding familiar because I think GLP-1 is the semaglutide that's Ozempic, right? Which works as a natural insulin manager in people without diabetes. When we eat, the small intestine releases GLP-1, prompting the pancreas to produce more insulin only when blood sugar levels get too high. The molecule also slows digestion and makes us feel full. Scientists suspected that injections of GLP-1 would be a, oh, thank you, Eric. Eric Petty, $10. You rule, Dalton. Thanks for all the free content you give us. Always makes me laugh. Very appreciated. Thank you, Eric, for thanking me. I appreciate it. I don't know, I don't know what it is about me. I guess I have that X factor. But I do appreciate it and I enjoy doing this. Probably is much more rewarding than trying to sell cell phones to people. That's not what I do for a living, because a living would actually pay my bills. And oh, this is funny. Angela Thompson says, "Fitness journey. We need some before pics." You're looking at it. You're looking at this. The last 2 years has all been one big before picture. This is as fat as I've ever been. I have trouble getting my socks on, like my socks and shoes. I got to hold my breath and like hike my leg up to like pull my sock over my foot. It's a what gets me about being fat as shit that is like never really mentioned or talked about. Like when you see somebody out in the wild, like a really big bulbous big tub of goo, like maybe not like me or someone even fatter. Like who's fat as shit right now? Everybody be losing weight because of Ozempic. But like back in the day, like Ralphie May, for example, that like you can't even begin to imagine what the day to day is like for that person. Like all the things you take for granted that you just do throughout the day, like put your shoes on and bend over to pick things up and wipe your ass, take a shower. That is like that might as well be climbing Mount Everest for a person who's fat as shit. Because I'm getting to that size where like that's becoming a concern for me. Where I got to fix this. I got to drop some lbs because I am like it's now these like very simple tasks are becoming difficult, like just putting socks on and socks and shoes and wiping my ass and scrubbing all the nooks and crannies when I'm in the shower. And so that's why, hey, look, that's why I went for a walk this morning. That's why I be cutting out processed sugars and I be eating fruits. I had 2 pears for breakfast. I ate 2 Bartlett pears. They were very perfect. They were just right. They were soft and very sweet. And so I'm working on it. I got some greens. I bought a box of greens for a salad. It's all gonna. I've done this before. I've never been this big before. I've never been this fat before. But I think I can still. I'm young enough, spry enough, supple enough, if that's the right word, virile enough that I think I could still drop the weight and get back to my fighting and fucking weight. $2 from shitty Planet Earth. Have you tried 1 meal a day or 18 to 6 intermittent? Yeah, I eat about 18 meals a day. I do intermittent fasting. So I eat and then I wait about a half hour before I have another meal. Yeah, the frozen blueberries are good. That's a good point, Joey Muggins. I do be eating frozen blueberries. I go get the big bag of frozen blueberries and then the berry mix as well. So I get a little strawberry, blackberry, raspberry in there. It's a good way to eat fruit. It's a good cheap way to eat fruit. I do be drinking my Coke. I got Coke Zero. I do be drinking Coke Zero. When we eat, the small intestine releases GLP-1, prompting the pancreas to produce more insulin only when blood sugar levels get too high. The molecule also slows digestion and makes us feel full. Scientists suspected that injections of GLP-1 would be a much easier and safer diabetes treatment than insulin, except for one crucial problem. The hormone lasts only a few minutes in the bloodstream before it breaks down. But the Gila Monster analog, Ng and Rauffman were surprised to note, lasts for hours. Ng was eager to patent the Exendin molecules. The VA declined to do so. It didn't see any obvious benefits for veterans. That sounds like the VA. The VA never sees any benefits for veterans for anything. So that's about their usual strategy is to say no. Rauffman opted out too. Diabetes wasn't his area, and patenting molecules wasn't common practice then. Quote, "You did science, people read your papers," he told me. What they went on to do with what they learned was their business. Yet Ng persisted. He patented the molecule at his own expense in 1995 and spent vacation time calling pharmaceutical companies, trying to get them to develop it into a drug. Ultimately, he licensed the patent to a startup called Amylin Pharmaceuticals for less than $1 million. In 2002, Eli Lilly and Company agreed to pay up to $325 million to Amylin for its drug Exenatide under the brand name Byetta. Exenatide was approved by the Food and Drug Administration, that's the FDA, folks, for the treatment of type 2 diabetes in 2005. Patients who took Byetta and other Exendin and GLP-1 inspired drugs also experienced substantial weight loss, trials revealed, but pharmaceutical companies were slow to realize how useful that side effect could be. Once they did and had improved their formulations, the consequences transformed society. So, yep, this is where I thought this was going. Ozempic and Wegovy, followed by Mounjaro and Zepbound. These sounds like Mortal Kombat characters. Became blockbuster drugs for treating diabetes and spurring weight loss. What's more, many of them appear to have additional beneficial impacts that researchers are only beginning to understand. Some seem to be protective against kidney and heart disease and may reduce inflammation in the brain that is linked to the development of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. You might say that the Gila monster, this shy subterranean reptile, harbored a blueprint all along for medicines that may be among the most consequential health advances of our time. So there you go. So I didn't know this. I didn't know that any of these drugs were. I don't know how anything works. So I didn't know that any of these were derived from, like critters. I didn't know they were just like shoving needles up a lizard's ass and pulling out the venom that's inside of them. So there you go, folks. Ozempic is essentially the ass juice of a lizard, but it looks like it might be a miracle for all of us. Lizard oil. Oh, Robbie, is Robbie joining us? Folks, we might be getting Robbie. There's the link. Medical interest in Venom. We know that the fucking Osborne Labs be studying this for years. Has long centered reasonably enough on snake bites. As many as 5.5 million people per year, usually agricultural workers and children in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, are bitten by venomous snakes. Those bites are responsible for more than 100,000 deaths, along with many more amputations, leading the World Health Organization to declare them a quote, a neglected public health issue. But most venomous interactions, sounds like anytime my ex-wife started talking, that was a venomous interaction. Most venomous interactions take place outside our awareness among invertebrates that we are liable to squish without a second thought. Now that researchers can, with the tiniest venom sample, identify every constituent molecule down to the last amino acid, they are discovering substances of extraordinary complexity. Tarantula venoms, for example, contain more than 100 molecules. In the venoms of some spiders and snails, that number runs into the thousands. This is good stuff. This is what you miss out when you're just scrolling all day. What they be doing, how they be learning all this. Venom is generally considered distinct from poison. Now, this is something I learned this in college. Venom and poison, that's two different things. Whereas poison is passive, a substance like a laundry detergent pod or berries from a black nightshade plant. Black nightshade plant was that like a menthol that can be lethal if ingested. Venom must be actively administered by. Oh, Robbie's here. Oh, Robbie.
Hi, is this the news show?
Yeah, we're talking news.
All right, I want to be Stephen A. Smith talking to Hannity.
Okay.
I respect your decision. I respect your vote. I love everything about you and everything your audience likes. But here's the thing.
That's Stephen A. owning the conservatives.
Okay.
The top. I googled election commentary on YouTube, and the top video, it had like 2 million views, was a Fox News video that was like Stephen A. Smith on the election.
Oh yeah. I tend to avoid all that stuff. Like, dude, this New York Times, I got this New York Times thing. It's festooned with so many other things, many other things to read.
Their sports coverage is actually amazing.
Sports journalism is good.
The Athletic is by far the best.
Yeah, I'm reading I'm in the science section. I'm learning about Ozempic.
Nice.
Did you know they got it from?
I was thinking about Andrew Huberman, and it's funny that's the scientist Joe Rogan listens to, and I realize it's just because he's jacked. Like Joe Rogan will listen to a doctor if he's jacked, I think.
Yeah, Dr. Jacked.
Jack and Daxter.
I would listen to them.
I would also listen to. I wouldn't listen to Daxter though. I think I would enjoy Daxter, but I wouldn't listen to him.
Right. I feel like Jack would be more qualified, or I at least would trust him more.
Daxter's a bit irreverent.
Yeah. I was just saying that's my problem with Deadpool. Also, he's too irreverent.
He's got to take some things seriously. I mean, these are life and death matters.
That was my qualm with that movie, the Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, this is very serious.
Hey, someone just died, Deadpool. Well, why are you talking about a movie that nobody knows exists?
Exactly.
Only you and the writers and the audience know about it.
It's frustrating because he keeps like mentioning all these things that we know about Marvel and Hugh
which
Jackman.
Is a good gag, I will say, but like,
I don't like gags. I don't like throwing up.
Jules, what's our rule? We don't like jokes. I don't listen to anything with jokes in it. My problem with Deadpool is it's just too much. It's a little bit like The Substance, where it's like it's just constantly doing like I'm exhausted by the end of Deadpool.
Yeah, so it's a lot like your act.
All right, you know what? I'm going to Auto Shrunken Head later, and I'm going to work on
Auto
it.
Shrunken Penis.
I'm going to Auto Shrunken Penis later.
Hosted by Anonymous Peoples.
I forgot about that. Anonymous Peoples.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's why I'm best in 5-minute increment. I think I would actually maybe be a better headliner because I like would relax and things would like I could take my time with stuff and there could be peaks and valleys. I think when there's like a shorter set, I'm a little
more
bit
valleys.
More like, wham, bam, bam. But that's the thing about Deadpool. It's like this would be a great like sketch or episode of TV. Whereas like a fucking 2.5-hour movie, like you got to kind of like space out the crazy, you know? Because if there's not 100 gags, there's just like over the top violence.
It's my favorite band right now, 100 Gags.
That's my favorite trans woman.
Yeah, and I don't like Ryan Reynolds' sense of humor either. He's just like
it's a little bit like, oh, that just happened.
Yeah,
you know,
it gonna make me lose my mind because it's so juvenile.
You want to talk about industry plans? So that guy got like 1 billion chances before Deadpool. They tried to put him in everything, and it kept not working.
Well, yeah, because he's hot and jacked and shredded.
Yeah, but a comedian who's actually funny gets like 1 shot, and then if it doesn't work, like Norm got 1 movie, and then they were like, "You're done."
Yeah, sorry, Ronan. Ronan was trying to hop in here. He's trying
I can go. I want to pop in and I just want to do like the Talking Heads Fox News segment.
No, I mean you know I don't know if you want to stick around for science.
What are you guys talking about? What do you
the Gila monster, dude?
Shane,
the Gillis monster.
What's up, dude? I'm a fucking monster, dude.
Yeah, that's how they make Ozempic is from Shane's piss.
Oh, I wanted to start. Oh, speaking of the newspaper, I wanted to debut my new newspaper writer, Colin Tyrell.
Okay.
Breaking story on background. They told me that. Then he writes a column about like potatoes or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good bit.
Thank you. He writes his own Me Too article.
Yeah.
5 women allege that I did something.
Robbie, be cool. He could still provide opportunities for us.
I never said he did anything.
Don't besmirch the name of Colin.
Hypothetical comedy bit.
Don't besmirch anyone's name that we think could still do something for us.
I'm a brave truth teller, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk shit.
No, I don't care. Yeah, that's like obviously what it is. Anytime like
right.
comedians like don't want to talk shit about someone else is like it's not because you actually respect them or give a shit about that
they
person.
just want to get booked.
It's literally it's you just want to get on Kill Tony. Nobody that's defending Tony is doing so because they like revere him as a comedian.
Which is funny because like Rogan's got huge respect because he like talks shit about Mencia, who at the time was bigger than Rogan.
And I'm a staunch Mencia defender.
Mm-hmm.
What is okay? We'll see what's going on. This is someone's kitchen.
Ronan O'Fryan.
Oh, hey guys.
Hello, Ronan.
Ronan O'Fryan.
Ronan, you have 2 minutes. Go.
Oh, 2 minutes. Wow. So I heard you guys were talking about Ozempic, cerebrolysine, all sorts of different peptides. I hear you're on a weight journey of some sort.
I'm on my weight loss journey, yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing so far? Eating healthy, exercising, avoiding cheese platters at the grocery store, of course.
Yeah, no, avoid with cheesecake was the temptation I fought. Yeah, I'd be walking and eating fruits and vegetables.
Do you do any kind of like intense exercise?
No, I can't because I'm lazy. But also I just like physically can't. Not right now.
I mean, like I used to box and I suck at skipping rope. So I never really did any of those exercises so well. But I started with just hopping 200 times a day. And then eventually...
What are you, a fucking rabbit?
Well, what are you going to do, right? If you can't do the skipping, you can just do the hopping.
Mm-hmm.
But like any exercise can be intense. I mean, you don't have to go to the most intense form of it either. You can do an intermediate form of that shit and still get the same kind of benefits. It's just, baby steps almost. You don't have to be a baby to do squats, but they're pretty good at them. You ever seen a baby squat?
No, I don't. I don't pay much attention to babies.
Perfect technique, Dalton. You should need to be watching babies right now. That's what you should be doing. Just tune into YouTube of babies squatting.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I hope I think you're doing well. I call back to you resisting the urge to buy a cheese platter at the grocery store the other day.
It was a cheesecake.
Cheesecake. All right, I'm going to keep saying cheese platter.
A cheese platter would be keto, actually.
What an incredible callback.
Charcuterie board.
I missed so much lore.
No,
I feel you.
There was a chickpea.
That's the best step, is just not to put it in your house. Just don't even have it in your fucking house.
Get in my belly.
In my belly.
Get in my
I
belly.
will eat anything. I was just at Trader Joe's, not to brag, but I was just at Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe? Are you talking about Joe Rogan?
I was talking about Joe.
Trader
Brandon.
Joe, friend of the show.
Trader Joe.
Trader Brandon. Trader Joe. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, keep going. The callback about the cheesecake.
Yeah, I mean, I gave Dalton a recipe for a chickpea-based cream cheese cheesecake.
That's called hummus.
It's called hummus.
I should have given him I gave him an appetite for destruction. Unfortunately,
that's all you have to do. Give him one Snickers bar, and he'll never quit.
Yeah, he's a Snicker lover.
Yeah, Dalton, have you ever tried this, like the 18-6, intermittent fasting, or OMAD, the 1 meal a day?
18-6, that's like a time signature for a Tool song. Like you trying to.
Matthew 3:11.
Why do they call? The Flash does a lot of intermittent fasting.
That's true.
That makes sense. They starve him in a cage for 18 hours of the day and then let him eat out for like 6 hours to film and eat.
Sonic also does a lot of intermittent fasting.
The hedgehog?
Yeah, the hedgehog.
Okay, right.
Yes. Sorry to confuse you.
Not the drive-in, nor the Seattle basketball team from the 90s.
Sonic and Shadow both do. They fast intermittently.
Gotta go fasting. That's Muslim Sonic.
Hey Dalton, do you have any questions about any of those things, like intermittent fasting? What will be the benefit, or keto diet, or paleo, or all the other fun little diets?
No,
I do.
Okay.
What's the best one? What's the best one and the one that's easiest, do you think?
Oh my God.
And is it really better to exercise on no food?
I mean, yes and no. If you were trying to lose fat and you went in a ketogenic state to exercise, and let's say you were doing like treadmill or biking for like 2 hours, technically your body's not pulling up. It's not drawing on any sugar that you just ate because you didn't eat. It's pulling on anything that you're producing or, kind of reconstructing into sugar, right? So you would be breaking down glycogen or remaking proteins or fat into sugar or some sort of energy source, right? So those are nice. But diets, you can eat any diet you want. It's how you approach it. Like carbs have been demonized. Proteins can be demonized, right? Like if you eat too much protein, it damages your kidneys. So drink a lot of water. If you eat too much fat, you end up looking like Lev Fur. No. It's just me loving on Lev Fur.
We love it.
But keto is a nice idea. Some people, like for me, I think the biggest thing would be if you're eating really processed sugars, it's kind of like food for cancer. And not to bring a real bummer to the show, but people who have those types of sugars and they're dealing with cancer tend to die because you're just feeding the cancer, and it tends to be really happy with that kind of energy source. But if you're eating like things that force your body to kind of work for its energy, it tends to make it a little bit harder for those cells to kind of,
Oh yeah, because I
going.
heard if you eat like you get a lot of new radicals,
Mm.
and then you get what you give.
I mean, the idea of eating things with antioxidants, like if I ate just blueberries, I could still give you diabetes. I could still give you cancer. It's just because of the excess, the amount of sugar you're eating, etc. But there are good compounds in those things. So let's say you had a low sugar yogurt with blueberries and a protein powder. It's it's too delicious. It's almost like eating cinnamon toast crunch, and yet there's not much sugar in it. So there are ways to kind of minimize how much sugar you're getting in, and that should help with some weight loss. But
Robbie's
diet is
penis is
definitely key.
minimized.
Hey, what? What?
It's
No, it
probably been
isn't.
growing. Yeah, I think it's been growing. I haven't been watching Robbie's penis recently, but I'm pretty sure it's growing.
What the hell? This is rude.
He's been losing a little bit of weight.
Robbie
Things are
is
starting to show through the bushes.
I have been losing weight. Thank you. I think. I don't know. I hope
No, you
so.
got a good beard. You look. You just tend to lose weight in your face. Not you, but people tend to lose weight first in their face. So your
Yeah,
face does look a little more. I don't want to start calling you Jason Momoa now and start giving you too many compliments.
Yeah. Well, he can be fat too. That Momoa. He can look like
can
Jason.
be.
He can look like
Yeah.
Jason Mimosa sometimes.
Jason
Bloated.
There you
Momoa.
go. More like Jason Samosa, am I right?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Can you give me another pakora?
Man.
Oh my god.
And what's the best exercise you recommend for losing weight? Do you think like cardio or weight training is best? Or a mix?
Oh god. I'd say mix. I like both. Both can work. I mean, when I started doing elliptical and exercises that really make my whole body work, my body tends to get more leaner or slender. If I do weightlifting, I'm adding muscle, which will burn more sugar out of my body. So less of me is fat and more of me is capable of doing the work.
Yeah.
Like if I had
Robbie,
no muscle, how am I going to do a
Robbie, I
squat?
got an exercise for you. You can lick my balls.
Yeah,
You want to hop on the lick my
that would work
balls
if it was
machine?
called the elliptical ball.
The elliptical. That's funny.
You want to hop on?
That's a stretch even for.
You want to hop on the lick my balls?
Yeah, sure, dude.
The elliptical.
The elliptical.
The
This doesn't really work, but it kind of also does. You can lick Pilates nuts, Dalton.
Huh. Yeah, I think walking is a great way to start for you, Dalton. It's not hard to find a place to walk in. I mean, sometimes, obviously, if you're going out at night on the streets, getting catcalled by truck drivers, I hope not.
Yeah, Dalton's getting catcalled.
I don't know where he lives. Dalton's a very mysterious location. He could be anywhere.
I live underground, dude.
Dalton-
Parts unknown, no windows.
Dalton tried cow calling, and that's how he met his ex-wife.
He was just mooing out the window. There are no windows. I'm aware. Dalton does not live in a room with windows.
Yeah, I went cow tipping. I gave the bartender a couple bucks.
Okay, Robbie, that is the best way to lose weight, cow tipping, because
Oh yeah, that's good exercise.
Yeah,
it's great exercise. You're in a
Why
field.
don't you go give Claire a push?
Oh wow.
Yeah, when I visit Claire at work, I go cow tipping.
Oh my God.
So rude, but that's okay.
Damn, that sucks, dude. To be like 27 and still trying to find a job as a bartender.
I don't know what she's doing. Maybe she's doing graphic design or something.
Maybe. She's doing.
Who's Claire, by the way?
Great question.
That's a good question. She's one of the few girls we ever had on the Loud Boys who gained a bunch of weight and then found out she was gay.
Oh my god, I'm gay. That's what she said.
Yeah. You know how that goes. That happens all the time. Like a woman gets fat and she's like, I'm gay.
Should I pick up Lou Dort for my fantasy team?
Sure.
Okay. I did it. If I lose this week, I'm going to fucking kill you, Dalton.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ronan. Goodbye.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you for the run-on sentences. I said that about Ronan yesterday, I think.
Oh, yeah. Run
on sentences, or just when you have a lisp?
Yeah.
So the thing about the left and the right in Israel is unique.
Man,
He got Microscene's podcast to implode.
It's crazy that he sounds so fucked up, and he decided to have a career in public speaking.
I know he is a good comic, though. I will give him that.
He is funny.
He'll be I mean, in the olden days, he would have just been he would have just done comedy for a couple years and gotten a writing job.
But I would honestly
I don't think
rather
Jews
watch
even
someone
get writing jobs anymore.
I'd rather watch someone less funny who could talk normal. You know what I mean?
There's a live great news. That's most comedians. That's all. It sounds like you got to hit the mics again, Dalton.
Yeah. Oh no, Ron on.
That was good. So is he an expert or something, or do we just get Dave?
No, he's just a guy.
Okay.
He's just a guy. He has a kitchen.
I guess it makes sense why these guys become experts, because it sounded like he knew a lot of stuff. So I was like, I better ask him.
You just talk confidently, and I guess everybody wants to be assured of something. Like everybody wants to feel like the person there.
Should we react to the Loud Boys episode with Claire?
No, not right now. We'll do that. I mean, we'll do that later.
That'd be a good Patreon thing.
That'd be a good Patreon
commentary on a podcast. we do it like the Dabble, like Kevin Brennan. It's like we just watch ourselves from 4 years ago and go,
well, what is?
Wow.
Wait a second. Is Kev live right now?
Oh, let's watch Kevin.
Folks. We'll get back into the news here in a second.
Wow,
dude, Robbie, I seriously, oh shit, what happened? Why did it stop?
Wow. Sarah looks terrible.
Wait a second, it's not. Fuck.
You know, no matter what happens in Kevin's career, he got to have sex with Sarah Silverman in her prime. And
that's pretty cool.
He won. It doesn't matter what else happens.
Dude, I started playing it just now. I don't know, it crashed. I had to restart it, but as soon as I started it, it's just Kevin going, "These fucking losers." Okay, here we go. Here we go, Robbie.
7 and can just get rid of everything. But no, I am my bills will be tripled. And that's why
I forget how much of this is Kevin watching people of less note than himself.
I need to go on and do shit.
Who the fuck was that? Stuttering John
To be rich.
Yeah.
Pun intended. This is Chad Zumick.
So we're
Rob
watching
Saul
Kevin
is
watching
a
Stuttering
broke
John.
loser.
We're watching Kevin react. We're reacting to Kevin react to
He's not
Stuttering
even a
John.
good drug
Reacting to
dealer. He can't even make money selling drugs.
Kevin can't even get a
If I was
sentence
broke
out.
loser,
Wow.
I wouldn't listen. I would file for a Chapter 7. and just liquidate everything.
But that's not my point.
You
Rob.
liquidate.
My point is, and I don't want. I'm not trying to get in a big fight with Chad because I don't want to give him any more heat than
What
But-
Chad is a
Right. You don't want to bring any heat to. You don't want to bring the Stuttering John heat to Chad. God forbid.
Hey,
That
Kevin.
Stuttering John heat that everybody's talking about.
loser. I mean, Chad
Oh yeah,
is a-
Kevin. How about you say that to his face, huh?
Call you $6 saving account.
That was a good one, Kevin.
You own your house.
Yeah,
Not for long. Not for long. Not for long.
I don't know who
Once he defaults on
I
the,
have no
the
idea what the
bankruptcy,
fuck is
like
going
Sewell did,
I don't
he
know
can
who
own
these
that
people
either.
are.
But I'm just reacting to Kevin's
Sewell filed
reaction,
for
which is what we're really
and then
here
he
to
stopped
watch.
paying the bankruptcy, whatever he was, whoever he had to pay the lawyer or whatever. Yeah, he was like, I'm not even paying the bankruptcy filing. This is what you're dealing with. You're welcome. You have a good job.
Wow,
He's
Kevin,
a shitty
wow.
bartender at a casino in Atlantic City. That's a good job. He's unemployed and living in an apartment.
yeah.
This
But yet,
content is
my best
Isn't
friend
it
is
rich,
my
Rob?
landlord.
But isn't it rich? He can call you a broke loser. John, your mom
Down
bought
to
you
make
your
a great
house.
point.
You guys
Oh,
are
funny how
broke
small
losers. That's a fact, Jack. These are facts. But these guys find each other and they sit around and they go, hey, we're okay. We're pals. So we must not be losers. You can still be pals and you can still be losers. You can be both.
That's us, Robbie.
Well, it is. It's very rich.
Wow.
That he's calling me a broke loser.
You talking about us?
Throw around the word rich. I mean, that's rich. That
Rich
these
laws.
broke losers keep saying everything's rich.
Because now, the only thing that's
like a-
happening
that's like
is
a
now I have
Carlin
to
bit,
pay
yeah.
more money.
All these broke
That he
people
doesn't
doing
have.
things
That he
the rich-
doesn't have. That he doesn't have.
For something
him,
that
Kev.
happened.
And now we know where he works. That'd be interesting if the people at the casino knew about the
Yeah, Kevin
shenanigans
looks like-
of one
He
Rob
looks like the
Saul,
fairy from Legend
doxing
of
people's
Zelda.
wives
Like, just
and
around the turn, John, just
dealing
making
drugs.
sarcastic comments. Hey,
you
listen.
know,
This is all for anyone to find in federal documents filed October 4th. Year of our Lord 2024.
from my divorce, I have to pay more money.
How much
Georgia.
podcast do you have to? This is truly
I didn't
looking
lose-
back.
This is so baffling. It's so...
No clue. And he's talking about it like it's the most important thing in the world.
he's talking. It's literally it's just like two guys. It's just like two strangers.
Wow. Wait. Listen. Put the sword.
It's just two people who should not be on anybody's radar. That
Yeah.
probably the only
Stuttering
reason they
John,
are.
30 years past his relevancy and just some guy.
Yeah, it's Stuttering John, who I guess at one point in time was like a thing, and then just like a guy who works at a
some
casino.
guy.
I'm getting.
Rob Saul. And all these people just live in the same like 10-mile radius of New Jersey.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of Jersey trash that.
Just a bunch of middle-aged Jersey alcoholics.
This is
just
a real like
screaming at each other.
this is a real like Batman and Joker, and I gotta be honest, I have no idea which is which, but it's like Kevin needs.
John is the Penguin, that's for sure.
Yeah, Kevin needs his rogues gallery. He needs these people to
Riddle me
hate.
this, Batman.
What is the question is what is Kevin without Stuttering John, without Rob Saul?
Kevin's kind of like the Catwoman, where he allies with people but is not indebted to anyone.
Right. He swears no fealty to anyone.
By the way, Dalton, MC Down, I think you need to add a Dan Wicks reaction.
Oh yeah, we do need a Dan Wicks. I got to figure out how to make that.
How do we get Dan Wicks in on the Dabbleverse?
That would be good.
Kevin
We-
reacts to Dan.
If we could get Dan Wicks to be a part of this, that would be a good.
It would feel like orchestrating something huge.
Yeah. But it's like Kevin displays so much passion and anger towards these people, but he needs them for to pay his bills.
He didn't always. It's so fun. Someone unearthed one of his old TV. He had like a TV pilot on like ABC.
Kevin did?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? About his relationship with Neil, I think.
Yeah, Kevin was like in the industry for a long time.
Like
and
Kevin has a really bizarre trajectory. And if there's anything I know about the New York comedy scene, it does not throw people out that much. So it's crazy that did happen to Kevin.
But Kevin's making like, it looks like he makes like pretty decent money doing this. Just every day he's
making more than Ray DeVito.
He's making more money than Ray DeVito. He's definitely making more money than Gino Bisconte.
Remember the 1099s.
Yeah, he just hops on YouTube every day for like 3 hours. Look, he just got another super chat. What are they talking about now?
I got dinner on me, brother. He came over and fixed my plumbing.
For free, probably. That's why John was like, hey, I'll buy you dinner. I'll buy a couple of Coors Lights.
Abandoned?
This
Yeah,
feels like a
double Dan.
mistake. Where we
Everyone's
take all
name's
the
Dan over
drunk
there.
guys at a VFW
So,
Twitch.
Here, I'm going to address this really briefly.
Yeah.
Mr. and Bessie's other assistant. Boss
Wow.
said something like ASAP.
Wow.
Here is the, and I wasn't even talk about it, but I texted him and said, "Look, man."
Okay. This is John now talking to Vince the lawyer about
It's the lawyer, the moment we've all been
suit.
waiting for.
Dude, we've all been on the edge of our
Ray's
seats.
girlfriend obsessing over all this finances
Oh,
is
man.
really trait.
Clear my schedule.
Okay, Ray's
We got
girlfriend.
Vince
Also,
the
Ray's
lawyer
girlfriend,
covered.
you're 100% wrong about Bert Kreischer. Okay, so you might want to look into that.
Wow.
They were born 1 year apart.
Why is he still using his fucking Xbox headset?
Yeah, he's using the Sham Wow guy.
They were born in 1970 or
Headset.
1971. He was born in
You think all these super
1972.
chats you could afford like
They met in
a USB
2004.
microphone? I guess he sounds fine.
Yeah, he sounds
I think they had
okay.
their first child in 2005. They
just
got
looks
married when
so
she was
funny.
pregnant. And
He looked like he stole his child's
they were both in their
Xbox.
early 30s, which is completely normal. Completely normal
Wow.
for a woman to have a child in their early 30s. When they get to be past 35, 36, 37, especially in Carl's age, ladies' age, 40, any OBGYN will be like, no, thank you.
Wow.
Saul. You don't understand. You don't understand.
Kevin uses the same
You don't
voice.
understand.
His impression of everyone is
What
that
happened
voice.
I'm ready to veto. I do clubs.
These guys are all broke losers.
Which is also what he sounds like.
They're all
Like,
broke losers. I'm a winner because my wife's fucking my cousin.
Who is he talking about?
Burnley Ann got married in December
I
2003.
hope to God it's not Vince the lawyer.
2003.
Yeah, please
so
don't
that
be
she
mean to
was
Vince the lawyer.
Why do all
30.
these
They
guys
had the
have, like,
first daughter.
The names of like Blue's Clues characters, like Keith the cop and Vince the lawyer. Where's Fred the baker and fucking?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. Kevin lives in his own version of
Dr. Steve, I think too.
Kevin lives in his own version of like a Richard Scarry book.
Yeah.
Like, what do people do all day? He's like, I don't know what Shuley does all day.
It's funny
Fucking-
that he probably didn't know who won the election till much later because he was too busy covering Ray DeVito.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
All right. I think I got to clean my room. But this was fun.
This was good.
We got to do more. I think we've been sucked into the Dabbleverse pause.
We're into the Dabbleverse. We're across the Dabbleverse.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for the new Beatles documentary. I love the Beatles. And there's a Family Guy Christmas special. There's a lot of good things to watch with your dad content coming out this Thanksgiving.
There's another Beatles documentary.
Yeah, about it's a Scorsese producing it, and
they only existed for like 9 years. I feel like we know everything about them.
Here's the thing: there's actually not a lot of good Beatles documentaries. The best one by far is that Peter Jackson one, and they're basically Peter Jackson's company is like doing the same thing with the footage that they did with Get Back, but about like their first tours, which just could be. That's like my least favorite era of the Beatles, but I'm excited. I don't know. I like the Beatles. Their story is fascinating to me, like just that group dynamic, and it like set the template for like every rock band after.
Yeah, those stories don't happen anymore. Like the story of just like a guy or a group of guys just picking up instruments and piddling around and then getting mega famous.
Yeah, and just like the war of egos between like John and Paul, and then like when you learn more, you realize Paul was the leader, even though everyone thought it was John, and then like George didn't get any of his fucking songs.
That was like the original Dabbleverse.
Wow. He's gonna give Ringo songs? The only thing I get is While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yeah, Ringo can't play drums.
Ringo can't even fucking play drums. Paul played drums that song. He can't even sing. Why can't I do Yellow Submarine?
Yeah. I saw the trailer. I mean, it looks like a big pile of shit, but the trailer for that Bob Dylan movie with Timothy Chalamet.
That looks like it was just made for Emerson College.
Yeah, but it is like crazy how the sort of like crux of the trailer of what the movie seems to be is like Bob Dylan moving from Minnesota to New York with just a guitar in hand, and then becoming like this cultural icon. Where like I don't know if that's even possible now to actually just go to a place.
Now people are blobs chilling.
Yeah. Now
the country's overweight, everybody.
I think maybe the last story like that before everything became like industry or
right
like really splinter was like Lady Gaga.
Oh, like yeah.
She would actually go to open mics in the city. Like there's footage of her at the bitter end.
She was an
dude.
extra in a Sopranos episode.
Yeah, she would just like go do open mics and then became the biggest pop star ever for a while. I mean,
Right.
she's still pretty relevant.
I think she's insanely talented, actually. I like Lady
I
Gaga.
love Lady Gaga. She's great.
Especially when I thought she was trans. Do you remember that? That was
Yeah. That was such a big deal. That was like I remember like I had teachers in high school, like Christian teachers being like, guys, beware Lady Gaga. She has a penis.
If that happened today, I would be like, it's good. Even if she had one, it's amazing.
Well, yeah. Everybody
Actually, she would get less famous when they found out she didn't have a penis.
Yeah.
That's how things have changed. Hey, RFK Jr. is gonna be in charge of the health administration, apparently.
That's great. That means
finally someone who has been to Gas Digital is in the White House.
I never even thought about that. I didn't even consider that. Yeah,
he has been to Gas Digital.
Finally, someone who's appeared on Part of the Problem is
someone I've sat in the same chair talking, podcasting.
Someone who sat at the same table
in charge of the water.
someone who sat at the same table where there's been many a squirt off is going to be in charge of our health.
Thank God they didn't stick him in Studio B. Who knew that our new minister in charge of like whether or not there's pesticides in the air? Who knew that across from him one day it was Mike Figs reviewing TikToks right across the room from him?
He could end up biting Lewis in the ass because what if he outlaws Blue Chew? That's like.
Oh, do you think he would do that? I think he's like very pro drug legalization.
That's like 60% of Gas Digital's income is dick pills.
Yeah, that's why I call it that Gas Digital station. They sell a lot of like gas station things.
Dude, honestly,
dick pills, kratom.
Gas Digital.
All right, doggies. Up next, lottery tickets. You want to win a lot of money?
Dude, Gas Digital does peddle a lot of like what you would find in a gas station.
Literally the digital version of a gas station. A racist guy screaming in the corner.
The newest alternative in tobacco. We love nicotine. We hate tobacco. Try fucking toothpicks with nicotine in them.
Sorry, doggy. You're not in Jersey. I can't pump it for. I can't podcast for it.
Damn, dude, that is great.
Yeah, there's a guy talking about MMA loudly.
I will say, $60 for a kilo of kratom is a hell of a deal.
It's a great deal.
Yeah,
I would take the Yo Kratom sponsor.
1 ounce of kratom at the gas station is going to run you about $20.
Oh yeah, guys, check out Yo Kratom.
we're not even sponsored by them.
And tell them that, and do use promo code Crowder Boys. And if it doesn't work, tweet at Lewis and ask why it's not working.
Yes, I think Craig does not want to sell it.
I know. All right. Promo code Corn About Rob Fed.
Use promo code Corn About Rob Fed. Corn Rob. Use promo code Corn Rob. It's in conjunction with myself.
Digital gas cars. Hey doggy, do you want to? Are you afraid to have a credit card because you might spend too much money, but you need money for gas? All new digital gas cards.
But yeah, I mean that you know. That's how good the product is and how affordable it is at Yo Kratom that we don't get any money from them, you know. But
right.
I'll tell you right now, it's the best deal you're going to get on Kratom if you're looking to.
You know, the two places I've left most with beef jerky in my hand have been Gas Digital and a gas station.
I will say anytime I went into Gas Digital, I was just eating a lot of crackers and Slim Jims.
Man. I mean, dude, we're comedians in New York. That was like a meal.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, but I'm going to gas soon. I'll just take some of those snacks.
Just coffee fresh. I don't care.
I do. That is a cool thing. I like that they always have like that makes it nice to go there.
Yeah, it was all. I always felt welcome until I wasn't.
Hit the thank
you. Hit the TYGN, Robbie. What does that mean? Thank you. Good night.
Oh, thank you. Good night. He wants me off the show.
That's rude.
I'm Tony Casino. Tip your bartender. All right, I do have to clean my room. Thank you, Dalton.
All right, goodbye, Robbie Goodwin. Everybody, I think that deserves a super chat. Wow. think I don't know how to wait. Okay. Okay. And I got like two windows open, but I think if I like smush one of the windows so I can look at the other one, it like we'll see what happens. Because I know like the last time I did one of these, the fucking stream just broke because of that. But anyway. Oh, nice. Oh, the angel number 444 from MC Downtrend 444. That means the angels are watching over you. And I think it's like, that's like a red bar thing, right? Anyway, let's continue. Venom is generally considered distinct from poison, whereas poison is passive, a substance like a laundry detergent pod or berries from a black nightshade plant that can be lethal if ingested. Venom must be actively administered by an animal, often via fangs, teeth, or barbs, usually to capture prey or defend against predators. Nature has engineered this capacity surprisingly often. There are at least 1,250 species of venomous catfish alone, each with its own venom formula. Venomous creatures include insects, spiders, corals, mollusks. Great album by Ween, by the way. The mollusk, snakes, lizards, and a few mammals, platypuses, shrews. A lot of mentions of my ex-wife in here, shrews as well. Many of them, such as marine species, are difficult to observe in their natural habitats, and so we know next to nothing about how and why they use their toxins. But in the venoms of creatures that researchers have been able to examine more closely, two features. Oh, shit. Hold on. Okay. Two features stand out that hint at their significant medical potential. They are incredibly potent and fast-acting, necessary qualities if they are to aid the survival prospects of the creatures deploying them. They can be produced in advance and stored for long periods at ambient temperatures in the animal's glands. They are composed of hundreds or sometimes thousands of molecules that often serve multiple purposes, making venoms, quote, essentially ecological Swiss Army knives. As a 2019 review in the journal Toxins put it. Oh, the journal is called Toxins. Ecological Swiss Army knives. Hold on. Oh. Okay. And a majority of those molecules are peptides and proteins honed over millions of years to target other animals in the host's ecosystem, including plenty of creatures whose biology overlaps that of humans. Thank you, Michael. Michael says, bless you. I sneezed. So it takes millions of years to it doesn't sound very efficient. But let's see here. Peptides have long been especially tantalizing for drug discovery. These molecules are composed of short chains of between 2 and 50 amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. I paid probably the Texas, the government, I guess, probably paid like thousands of dollars for me to learn this in college. I remember that from my biology and chemistry classes in college. Amino acids, building blocks of proteins. But then I switched majors to English, so that was probably like $20,000 of government money down the drain. They are and that's the thing. All this stuff is like so fast. It's so interesting. It's like fast. I wish I was like, knowledgeable in all this and actually, was what's the word? Knowledgeable. But I just couldn't hang with that the science major, so I had to go get it. I had to go spend more money to finish my degree to get a degree in reading, which I guess is valuable now that most of the country, these new stats came out that like most of the country is illiterate now. So it does benefit me to have a degree in reading good. They are smaller and simpler than proteins are, yet they are larger and more complex than the molecules consisting of a single atom or atoms bonded together that are used in most drugs. Such drug formulations can slip unnoticed through the membranes of cells and influence how they function. Peptides, by contrast, must engage with particular receptors on cell surfaces. Because these surface receptors differ considerably depending on what role the cells play, any peptide that manages to interact with them tends to have a highly specific impact. The first peptide used for therapeutic purposes was the hormone insulin, which Canadian researchers extracted from the dog pancreas in 1921. Man, science is barbaric. They be cutting open dogs to help black people with their blood sugar. It soon began to be harvested and purified from the pancreases of pigs and cows. Human insulin wasn't synthesized in a lab until 1978. In general, peptides have limitations that make them less than ideal for commercial development. For example, they typically need to be injected into the bloodstream because they are quickly digested if swallowed, and even then, they have a relatively short biological half-life. Since the late 19th century, researchers have known that snake venoms contain amino acids and therefore probably proteins as well, and their profound and varied effect on human cells was easy to see. Cobras, mambas, and other members of the elapid family, snakes whose fangs are always erect, sounds a little bit like me, deploy powerful neurotoxins that paralyze the muscles, eyelids first, then skeletal muscles and diaphragm until a victim asphyxiates. This prevents their prey from struggling while they eat it. Vipers, on the other hand, including rattlesnakes and adders, have fangs that fold back when not in use. Their venom breaks down blood vessels, causing profuse bleeding, which leads to clots, strokes, and other related damage. Quote, when a rattlesnake bites, it's like a shotgun blast. Stephen Mackesy, a biology professor at the University of Northern Colorado, told me, quote, it knocks out of kilter a lot of different control systems. Whether or not something is damaging or beneficial, however, depends on the dose and the context. In the 1960s, John R. Vane, a British pharmacologist who would go on to unravel the anti-inflammatory effects of aspirin, was studying hypertension when a postdoctoral student from Brazil joined his lab. The student, Sergio Ferreira, brought with him peptides from the venom of the Brazilian viper, Bothrops jararaca, Bothrops moraca, which he had shown could dilate blood vessels, allowing more blood to flow through them. Too much of the peptide helped cause the unchecked bleeding characteristic of viper bites, but the lab discovered that the peptide could also block an enzyme known as ACE that causes hypertension. The peptide became the model for the first ACE inhibitor, captopril, which the FDA approved in 1981 to treat high blood pressure. It went on to become a $1 billion drug. Damn, dude. So that means like the asses of so many different snakes and lizards and animals probably have like billions of dollars in them that we don't even know about. The use of Exendin 4 to develop Exenatide, the diabetes drug, was very likely the first occasion when venom was co-opted to serve a metabolic function in people. Even so, it has remained unclear why the lizard would have a metabolic hormone in its venom. In fact, the central mystery of nearly all venoms is their extravagant complexity. The Blue Mountains funnel web spider of southeastern Australia, for example, has 3,000 molecules in its toxic cocktail, one of which happens to be deadly to humans. Are those thousands of other molecules vestiges of the evolutionary process, the spider version of our appendix, say, or might each one serve a contemporary purpose? I tell you, all cocktails are toxic for me. I'm an alcoholic. Stephen Trim was a molecular biologist at the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer when he realized that his hobby, keeping pet snakes and spiders, could be critical to his career. Trim's team had been tasked with developing a new pain treatments by identifying molecules that could turn off specific nerve cells. Making their project trickier, those molecules would also have to ignore other similar seeming cells that take care of processes like breathing and heart pumping. Most drugs in use today aren't so discriminating. Instead, they enter all kinds of cells and cause all sorts of outcomes, some of them beneficial, but others unpleasant or even dangerous as side effects. Trim began his search as he usually did, looking through research publications for any mention of the cells he was trying to turn off. He was in luck. An academic group had indeed found a substance that could engage them, a tarantula's venom. Naturally, Trim wanted to test that venom on his cell cultures. And because cell culture, what is this, prison? And because tarantula venom contains hundreds of molecules, he hoped to purchase it already sequenced or separated into its component parts. Unfortunately, such a product didn't exist. The problem, as far as he could tell, was that the people who study tarantula venom are biologists, and they generally lack the experience and technology to sequence it efficiently. On the flip side, his pharma colleagues had the tools and know-how to dismantle and reassemble infinitesimal droplets, but they tended to think of venom, if they thought about it at all, as a blunt instrument of pain and death, not a treasure trove of compelling molecular designs. And of course, they had no idea where to get it. You get it from the fucking spider. You know, it's the tarantula. Trim did, though, because he and his wife, Carol, a cancer biologist, happened to have several tarantulas in their menagerie at home. The question confronting him was, how? In February 2010, Pfizer downsized its facility in Sandwich, England. Man, I'd love to go there. Where Trim worked. Laid off, severance in hand, he formed a new company less than a month later, Venom Tech. That sounds cool. In one of his first acts to set up his business, Trim bought carbon dioxide from an aquarium supply store and, on his dining room table, began to experiment with anesthetizing spiders. He needed to be sure he could harvest their venom without hurting them. He later found that a tarantula's heart can stop for as long as 10 minutes before it starts beating on its own again. We didn't have that defined knowledge of what is dead, he told me. We often step off the edge of science. When I visited the lab in April, Venom Tech had 4 employees and rented laboratory space on the mostly vacant Pfizer campus where Trim previously worked. It exported the product Trim wanted to buy years earlier, venoms separated into their constituent molecules. At that point, Trim said the success of recent diabetes drugs had yet to kickstart a race to exploit Venomics. to find more human therapy. You know, I kind of subscribe to the libertarian ideology of Venomics. The market will decide who gets the venom. Indeed, persuading would-be customers to invest in the venomic future he knew was coming was his main challenge as an entrepreneur. It proved insurmountable. 4 months later, he ran out of money and was forced to liquidate the company. Well, that's convenient that, you know, the venom's already a liquid. Our view of venom as a weapon turns out to underestimate the fecundity. Word alert. Hold on. What does that word mean? Fecundity. The ability to produce an abundance of offspring or new growth, fertility. The ability to produce many new ideas. Okay. Fecundity of natural selection. Tawny, crazy ants use their venom as an antidote to the venom of fire ants. Moles and shrews paralyze earthworms and insects so that they stay put in their larder and are fresh when it's time to eat them. Jewel wasps sting cockroaches with a serum that turns them into, quote, zombies that willingly accompany the wasps back to their lair to be devoured by their larvae. The venom of bees and many other invertebrates is painful but deliberately not fatal, presumably so that victims will survive to teach their offspring and other members of their species to avoid the stinger. Unbelievable. Assassin bugs. That's Tony Hinchcliffe. He's an assassin bug. Assassin bugs make at least two kinds of venom and can choose which to use in a given situation. Occasionally, the redeployment of the molecules found in venom for human needs are nearly as clever. Glenn King, a molecular biology professor in the Division of Chemistry and Drug Discovery at the University of Queensland in Australia, first became interested in toxins in the mid-1990s, a period of mounting concern about the environmental impact of chemical pesticides. Quote, where could we find some natural insecticides that were more eco-friendly? King asked me. Quote, in retrospect, the answer was obvious. Spiders. Dreams are mainlining through her head. They've been working on it for millions of years. Vesteron Crop Protection, which King founded before later selling his stake, manufactures his bioinsecticides. King switched his focus to medical applications when he realized that many venom peptides, especially those of smaller invertebrates, target ion channels. An ion is an atom or molecule with a positive or negative charge. Ion channels function as gates that determine which ions can enter or leave a cell, thereby activating or deactivating that cell by changing its voltage. Ion channels are critical to countless basic functions. They've been implicated in conditions from diabetes to cancer to epilepsy to autoimmune disorders to chronic pain. There are a lot of them in the brain and nervous system where cells signal one another electrically. A peptide of considerable interest to no, shut up, John Castle. This isn't your fucking show. I'll read what I want to read. I'll do whatever I want to. You start a YouTube channel. If you don't like what I'm doing, this is what interests me. I'll fucking do whatever I want to do. If you don't like it, pound sand. Or give me money. In fact, give me money instead. But I will not capitulate to your demands no matter what you do. But please give me money. If this doesn't interest you, then you're a dullard and a lout. This is fascinating business that we're looking at here. This is some cool shit, and your mind is smooth. You have a smooth brain. If this kind of shit does not tickle your mind in any way. You know what I mean? I love. You know, it's like what happened to curiosity? What happened to the folks' desire to learn? You want everything to be a sensation, a spectacle. You know, to be I don't know I don't know what people want. But this, you know, this is actual. You know, we're all learning right now. That's the thing. Is that, you know, I'm reading this and I have a curious, but this isn't, I'm not just like, look, I'm not just paying some guy to Google things for me and then skimming, you know, cursory information. I'm diving in deep and wading through the details and actually trying to add another wrinkle to my brain. And you could stand to do the same, John Castle. Don't fucking come at me telling me how to run my goddamn show. I'll do whatever I want to do. I do not accept criticism, constructive or otherwise. Wait a second, where was I? They have been implicated. These are ions. They have been implicated in conditions from diabetes to cancer to epilepsy to autoimmune disorders to chronic pain. There are a lot of them in the brain and nervous system where cells signal one another electrically. A peptide of considerable interest to King is found in spider venom. In rodent trials, injecting it as many as 8 hours after a stroke resulted in 60% less neural damage from oxygen deprivation compared with those rodents that didn't get the treatment. Okay, John Cat, fuck you. I'll tell you something right goddamn now. This isn't, it's not like I just chose this all willy-nilly to fill time. I am trying to fill time. But also, I was deliberate in choosing this. I would like, you know, search through what was available in the news, and this piqued my interest. So fuck you. All right, get fucked. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck your mother, and kick rocks. This is interesting to me, and you know, and Ozempic, all these fucking weight loss drugs, is these are all big things in the news right now. Everybody's talking about Ozempic and taking the injections, and people's faces are looking fucked up when they lose all this weight. And they got the veneers, which is not related to that, but nobody has their actual teeth anymore, and they look crazy. But nobody, you know, does anybody actually know what it is they're doing, or do they just, just putting their health in the hands of pharmaceutical companies and saying, I trust you, you're giving me something called Ozempic. I don't know what it is, but I'm told if I inject it, I'll lose a ton of weight. This is actually going, providing the facts, providing the details as to what the research was that led to the discovery of Ozempic. And the other ones, Motaro and Goro and Noob Saibot and all of them. Other applications being investigated in other labs include a scorpion peptide that binds precisely to malignant tumors, including those in the brain. This peptide is engineered to be fluorescent so that during surgery to remove a tumor, doctors can see whether they have cut it all out. Eventually, similar molecules may be programmed to kill cancer cells outright without chemotherapy or radiation, says Jim Olson, a professor at the Seattle Children's Research Institute and the University of Washington, who initiated the project. A peptide from sea anemone venom is in clinical trials as a treatment for some autoimmune diseases, according to Christine Beaton, the immunologist leading the investigations at the Baylor College of Medicine. In Brazil, a biochemist and neuroscientist, Maria Helena de Lima, is developing that was a great Woody Allen movie, by the way, Maria Helena de Lima, is developing a peptide derived from the venom of a banana spider to treat erectile dysfunction. Ion channels can be tough to manipulate. Crystal Crocodile wants to know, have I eaten? I already said this earlier. I had 2 Bartlett pears today of a banana spire to treat erectile dysfunction. Ion channels can be tough to manipulate with lab design molecules. Finding those molecules in nature, though, at least when it comes to venom, means bridging a crucial gap between what biologists know about how a certain creature uses its venom and what clinicians know would help their patients. This is the gap that Stephen Trim set out to close. Before Venom Tech folded, he has since started another company, Ventera Bio Limited, that was Johnny Rotten's band after the Sex Pistols, to develop biopesticides. He would collect all the venomous creatures he could get his hands on and milk them every few weeks. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Snakes less often than spiders because snakes yield so much venom. That was, quote, a bit like juicing an orange, he told me. It just pours out. Then he's making the snake squirt. Then he used liquid chromatography to separate out the different chemical components and mass spectrometry to identify them based on the weight and charge of their atoms. When I toured Venom Tech's lab, I was impressed by the equipment. The liquid chromatography machine retailed for more than Trim's first house. But more spectacular was the entire wall filled with translucent plastic boxes containing tarantulas, scorpions, and centipedes. From a bin on the floor came a faint, earthy aroma of locusts that served as their food source. The day I arrived, 2 clinical pharmacology students, Elfreda Boateng and Rahaf Mohammed, were starting a 6-week internship in the lab as part of their program at City St. George's, an institute at the University of London. Trim's senior lab technician, Stuart Baker, was showing them how to work with the invertebrates. For the students' first try, Baker selected a Chilean rose tarantula from the shelf as a sommelier might a fine wine. Quote, "They're one of the most chilled out spiders you can get," he announced. He handed Boateng the top third of a plastic Coke bottle to scoop that sounds very scientific. This is science, folks. Top third of a plastic Coke bottle to scoop the spider up with. Mohammed took video with her phone as Boateng gingerly lifted the spider out of its habitat and slid it into a container with a hole for adding carbon dioxide. "How was it?" Mohammed asked. "Scary," Boateng replied. One of Venom Tech's customers was Helena Safafi, an associate professor of biochemistry at the University of Utah, who studies the chemical composition of venom made by cone snails, marine mollusks with beautiful patterned shells. Safavi was born in Iran and grew up in Germany, where she learned to scuba dive in a murky lake. When she finally got to see a coral reef, she was captivated, not by the spectrum of colors or the diversity of species, so much as by the sheer density of their interactions with one another. Quote, "You have bubbles all over your face," she told me. "You don't understand what's going on around you. You're basically in this soup, both chemically and biology." So she put on the scuba suit and said, "I got to focus. I'm shifting into soup mode." There are about 1,000 species of cone snail, and some of them prey on fish and worms and other snails by injecting them with potent neurotoxins. One such toxin is so powerful that it has been known to kill divers who pick the snails up to admire them. The federal government regulates the possession of a few dozen substances, and this type of cone snail venom, like botulinum, is one of them. Utah already had a robust cone snail research program when Safavi arrived a decade ago. In the early 1990s, a professor there, Baldomero Oliveira, had been studying the venoms of 2 cone snail species to understand how they paralyzed fish when he figured out that their venoms contained peptides that could block a reaction in the human spinal cord that registers pain. One of the peptides eventually became an analgesic. Ziconotide that was approved by the FDA in 2004. My wife is always saying no to analgesic. Safavi is a rising star in the field. I'm not going to do this, but thank you for the money. $2, John Castle. Read On Practice on Contradiction by Mao Zedong. Nope. I already told you I will not capitulate. I will not bend the knee to your demands. But thank you for the money. Safavi is a rising star in the field of venom therapeutics. Glenn King says in 2015, she published, along with Oliveira and 14 other colleagues, a paper describing the unexpected discovery that, although cone snails are notorious for their neurotoxins, 2 species target fish by hijacking their metabolism instead. Michael Hall says he ate ass recently, really enjoyed it. Well, you have shitty taste, it sounds like. The snails release a venom containing insulin into the water, disabling nearby fish by rendering them essentially hypoglycemic. The fish become uncoordinated and can experience seizures or pass out, just as a person with low blood sugar might. This allows the snail to, quote, swallow the fish whole through its rostrum, an appendage that looks like a mouth. In a windowless room, Safavi and a postdoctoral fellow, a Marek Rogalski, showed me 2 aquarium tanks with snails in them. Dragging their shells, they had left ruts on the sandy bottom before disappearing beneath its surface. Only their brightly colored snorkel-like siphons poked out to draw water in over their gills. Rogalski is a biologist who studies the snail's behavior. He is also the lab member charged with extracting their venom, which he does by tricking them into reacting to a vial concealed beneath the fin of a fish. These snails shoot the vial with a hollow chitinous harpoon, which at other times they keep retracted within their shell, and plunge their toxin through it as if it were a hypodermic needle. Rogalski's task demanded patience. He had to dangle a dead zebrafish in the water and wait for one of them to show interest. They're snails, he said, so they take their time. Yeah, sounds like my wife when she's getting ready to go out. Technology has advanced so far that chemists need barely any venom at all to be able to determine its amino acid sequence and replicate it synthetically. There are even large online databases containing the sequences of hundreds of venom peptides, and researchers can use this information to make discoveries without ever seeing a cone snail. Quote, some of us are a little bit sad that the technology is getting so good, Savavi told me. It makes field work less important. Organizing collection trips and arranging the necessary permits can take years, and some locations are too dangerous to visit. Such excursions, though, are still the only way to find snails whose venom is new to science. Quote, we have a whole long list of species we would love to sequence and cannot get our hands on, she told me. All the while, climate change is decimating coral reefs around the world. Many snails, here we go with the climate cult. This is now the woke mind virus. Many snails that Safavi might be able to find today will be extinct before she can reach them. In an ideal world, we would just sequence everything right now, she said, but I don't see that happening. One morning in Utah, Safavi and I walked into a coffee shop and heard a bang. A sparrow that got indoors had flown into the front window. In a flash, Safavi pulled off her canvas jacket to use as an impromptu net. She and a member of the kitchen staff eventually shooed the bird out through the back door. I came to think that what venom researchers grasp better than everyone else, but what they have yet to make the rest of us understand, is more fundamental and less lucrative than the possibly unlimited utility of other organisms to humans. They appreciate that we are all sparrows, snakes, spiders, snails, at the most foundational molecular level, the same. When you think about it, both sides are kind of the same. Venom researchers are thus burdened, in a sense, with a close-up view not just of our annihilation of the natural world, but of the intricacy and interconnectedness of all the organisms we are snuffing out. Christine Beaton told me that she has stopped squashing spiders. Quote, "We are probably scratching the surface of venoms that are beneficial," she says. "Each time we destroy a little piece of the environment, how many little spiders are in there, or centipedes that might be a little pharma company on their own?" Glenn King notes that 99% of the venomous creatures in the world are invertebrates. They produce such tiny quantities of venom that 20 years ago, we had no way to determine its composition. Quote, "I think in the next decade, people are going to be pulling out these really interesting drugs from bugs we've never heard of," he told me. David Julius, a molecular biologist at the University of California, San Francisco, has used spider venom to activate these cellular receptors for temperature and touch to see what those molecules look like and how they work. Research for which he won the 2021 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Julius notes that venom, in addition to being valuable as a reservoir of potential pharmaceuticals, can provide powerful tools for basic research. Quote, "It's still a great resource, largely untapped, for molecules that, if they don't become drugs, can tell us about how to design drugs," he says. See, now this is how we this is applicable to all the homosexuals and party goers out there. This is how we get new designer drugs, is from these snails and spiders and whatnot. Somebody go out there and massages the anal gland of some spider, or however they get it. They jerk off a spider, and then we be getting something new for the dance floor, something new to go in the bathroom and consume prior to anonymous gay sex. But first, to tap that source, see, that's what you be doing in the bathroom of a gay. You'd be tapping the source, tap that ass. But first, to tap that source, somebody somewhere has to capture a Gila monster or a viper or a cone snail or a spider and milk it. While I was at Venom Tech, Baker showed Boateng and Mohammed how to complete that process. These students had used carbon dioxide to put a tarantula to sleep. Boateng tipped its container upside down, and the spider flopped onto its back. She took off the lid and probed it with forceps. When it didn't flinch, she slid tweezers under its fangs. They moved easily, which meant the spider was inert. Baker demonstrated how to grip its abdomen between its 4 sets of legs and lift it out of the box. "You pick it up with your hands?" Mohammed asked. "Oh, you pick it up with your hands?" I got a turn too. We all wore gloves. The spider's heft between my thumb and forefinger was startling at first, like a supple set of car keys. Until that moment, okay, now whoever's writing this is trying to add their little flourishes there. Until that moment, I had not thought much about a spider's insides. Do tarantulas have stomachs, brains, lungs? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. Under Baker's direction, I set the spider on a pedestal that held a little test tube. We unfolded its fangs. At rest, they're tucked in, aimed at the abdomen, and pointed them down into the tube. Then we positioned tiny electrodes just above them on either side of the spider's chelicerae. What the fuck is this? Chelicerae. Its mouth parts. Baker told me to rest my finger on the spider's cephalothorax, which I would have called its head, so that its fangs didn't pop out. and then he zapped it with a jolt of electricity. The spider's legs twitched, and venom trickled out of its fangs and into the tube. After a few more zaps, I lifted it back into its terrarium to recover more gently than I would have before. That was an article by Kim Tingley. That was Nature's Swiss Army Knife. What can we learn from venom? So you see that, they're at the end. They tell you how they get the venom out. They electrocute the shit out of a spider, and then it leaks venom out of its fangs. And then this lady here would actually, started developing feelings for the spider. There, she didn't want to hurt it, putting it back in its terrarium. So there you go, folks. This is the vanguard of science. Is jacking off spiders and scorpions to study their venom, so that we don't have to be fat as shit anymore. And that, that's science for you. But that's good. It's good news. See, that's the thing. A lot of folks think all the news is doom and gloom or hysteria, but this right here is what I'm like looking for in doing this, like sifting through all the news out there. Where's the stories of inspiration, of hope, right? Where obesity is becoming such a health issue for myself and many in this country. How they be curing obesity? They're jacking off scorpions and getting their venom, and studying that and developing all the, scorpion, spiders, lizards, and reptiles and shit like that, and getting their venom, and then studying that, and somehow that turns into Ozempic, and so there's billions of dollars in the balls of all kinds of spiders and scorpions and shit, and it's a veritable gold mine to be panned, for those who know how to look for it and know what to do with it. It's not something that any of us could probably do. I don't know. I would not. I'm very good at jacking myself off, but I don't think I'd be good at jacking the venom off of a spider. But that's the thing is, like, we all think, I guess, like, so the focus of so much of our lives now is like, the election or all these like sensational political issues. But it's nice to know that, I suppose that, I'm looking at I fucking got my ass kicked on the stock market today. I suppose that the impetus for a lot of these, a lot of this study, like these people studying venom, I feel like if you're like a scientist like that, there is some like an element of altruism or benevolence to that. Like, you want to actually help the world and discover new things that further the human race and society and all of us. But then it's also like rooted in, this is unavoidable, and this is not me getting lefty or commie on you, but it is all kind of rooted in like pursuit of capital, like capitalist endeavors. There was many mention in that article of the potential financial rewards of this kind of research. These are billion-dollar industries. So there is like, what's the word I'm looking for? Financial incentive to study these things. But that financial incentive is also kind of what drives, at least under the structures that we've existed in for many, many years now. The scourge that is capitalism is also what drives the sort of innovation that, saves lives and makes life better and more better for all of us. So I guess, that's to say that capitalism and saving the human race are not mutually exclusive necessarily, because it is the pursuit of capital that drives a lot of these scientists. These scientists are also entrepreneurs, right? So making money is also kind of a big factor in what drives them. And so that's ultimately what I'm getting at is that all of us should be trying to we should all be focusing on the bag, because the focus on the bag is what in pursuit of the bag is what allows you to creates the parameters within which we try to experiment and do all kinds of new things that make life better for all of us. You know what I mean? Like jacking off a spider to make weight loss medication. That wouldn't have happened if there wasn't a scientist trying to make a ton of money. There's no scientist would be jacking off spiders to make Ozempic if he didn't think that it would benefit him financially in some way. So that, in conjunction with wanting to help people, is how like Oprah Winfrey is able to stay thin now. So there you have it, folks. Thank you for tuning in to today's edition of CNC Cornfed News Convention. I appreciate y'all. This is fun. I'm still experimenting with it, much like this is basically me jacking off a scorpion the way I'm doing this now, but it'll grow and evolve over time. So I really appreciate y'all who, I don't know what y'all do for work. Like I said, I'm off for the day, but all y'all during working hours tuned in, and I appreciate that. Thanks again for the super chats that I got. Andrew Waller, Eric Petty, Shitty Planet Earth, MC Downtrend, and John Castle. And I'm very happy that John gave me money to do something I'm not going to do for him. Thank you. And till next time, I love you. Please be safe.